What's up guys? I've been real interested in trying out the hottest new video game release, E3 2021, but I should probably read some reviews first before I decide on buying it or not. I'll take that as a good sign.
Well, look who decided to rear their ugly head. It's our old friend, the Electronic Entertainment Expo. And by friend, I mean embarrassment. E3's back and now in an all-digital format due to a hearty case of... In previous years, only one or two companies did pre-recorded press conferences for E3, but now it's time for everyone to know what it feels like to be Nintendo. Anyway, E3 2021 is come and gone, so I think it's only appropriate to go through each company's presentations one by one, and talk about how disappointing/boring 80% of their showings were. Before we start though, I should mention that I won't be able to cover the showings of every company since it seems like everyone and their grandma decided to hold a press conference this year, and also I won't talk about some of the more general showings like Jeff Keighley's Elden Ring Festival or Devolver Digital's expensively elaborate post. I'll mostly just cover the companies that are normally at E3 and the stuff that I chose to watch. Well, with that said, let's see how disappointed I can get. Ubisoft kicked E3 off this time, and man, I really don't know why I choose to watch their conferences every year. I already know that I don't care about 90% of their games, and the 10% I do care about is either Rayman, which we never get, Beyond Good and Evil 2, which I'm convinced doesn't even exist at this point, and Just Dance, which is always there because there'll be a new Just Dance until the end of time. Anyway, Ubisoft opened with an extensive look at Rainbow Six Extraction, formerly known as Rainbow Six Quarantine, which changed due to... From what I can tell, this is just Siege with a Horde mode. I don't know how Rainbow Six fans feel about this game, but to me it looks like it might be fun, but I also don't know how much longevity this game will have. It just seems like it could have been a bonus mode in Siege rather than a full-blown release, you know? Afterwards they announced Rocksmith Plus, a PC guitar teaching tool expanding upon the original Rocksmith. It seems like a really in-depth way to learn guitar, but I thought it was also kind of weird Ubisoft decided to highlight this so much. Like, as someone who owns a couple of guitars himself but doesn't know how to play them, I think I'm qualified enough to say that guitars and gamers do not mix as well as you think.
I thought this was a Wii balance board.
There was a new look for a game that was apparently revealed last year called Riders Republic. Don't know where I was when this was announced, but this looked kind of interesting. Like Extraction, I don't know how much staying power this game will have. I could see this being dead in like a year if it's not a huge hit. Some smaller stuff got highlighted, Siege is going crossplay, and an animated trailer for one of their new operators was shown. More For Honor content's coming, this game called Trackmania, which just looks like Fall Guys with cars, was there for a second. Brawlhalla is getting Ninja Turtle characters, a new Crew 2 update is coming. Watch Dogs Legion is getting some DLC, a new Ghost Recon game is most likely in the works. And Just Dance 2022 was revealed, thank fuck. Assassin's Creed Valhalla is getting more support, which is pretty cool to see. I think Ubisoft has been approaching the Assassin's Creed series much better recently, with them supporting their already released games and not milking the series as much and whatnot. I haven't played Valhalla yet though, so this section didn't do much for me. Some TV shows were shown, people have said it before and I'll reiterate. Why are these at E3? Far Cry 6 got shown off a little bit more even though there was already a Far Cry 6 event a couple of weeks ago, and a Season Pass was revealed with past series villains being playable and Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon being included as a bonus. Super lame that Blood Dragon might be locked behind a Season Pass, but hopefully it'll be released separately after a couple of months. After that, a new Mario + Rabbids game was revealed subtitled Sparks of Hope, even though it was leaked a couple of hours beforehand. Finally, something interesting. I haven't played the original Mario + Rabbids game yet, but I do know that it turned out a lot better than anyone was expecting. So who knows, maybe I'll give this a shot in the future. And finally, to end off, a new game based on James Cameron's Avatar was unveiled, titled Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. I'll be honest and say that I really don't like the original Avatar movie, so this did next to nothing for me. The only solace I get from this reveal is that we now know more about this than the actual Avatar sequel in the works, and I just think that's kind of funny. Overall, Ubisoft was about as average as I was expecting them to be. Some good, some bad, not horrible, but not great either.
Gearbox. Fuck Gearbox.
Now we're getting to the companies that I have more expectations for. Yes, while Microsoft is kind of hit or miss with their conferences, I've grown to enjoy them more and more over the years, especially with Sony still thinking they're too good for E3 and all. And hey, this year's also the first E3 with Bethesda under their belt, so let's see what they have to announce.
20 years.
Todd Howard started the show with the cinematic trailer for Starfield, Bethesda's first new IP in 25 years. Really wish we got some gameplay considering this trailer didn't really show us anything outside of space exploration, which we already assumed anyway, but it's coming out next year so we'll probably get some more info soon. After that, there was a 5-minute trailer for Stalker 2. I don't know anything about the Stalker series, but I thought the gameplay looked kinda basic, and the trailer's pacing certainly didn't help things either. Back 4 Blood got an extended trailer, and I actually have some high hopes for this one. It's very clearly trying to be the next Left 4 Dead, but I think it looks pretty fun. Might have to check this one out sometime. A new game by Avalanche called Contraband was announced. There was no gameplay. I hate it when companies reveal completely new games without telling us anything about them. Moving on. Sea of Thieves is getting a Pirates of the Caribbean expansion, which was pretty cool. I haven't played Sea of Thieves, but I loved the Pirates of the Caribbean movies growing up, so I might just have to buy this game and try it out sometime. I will say though that the characters do look a little weird in this art style, like Jack Sparrow looks like he was ripped from Fortnite or something. Yakuza Like a Dragon's coming to Game Pass. I really love that every mainline Yakuza game is on Game Pass now, but this was still not a huge announcement. Battlefield 2042 looks nuts. I wouldn't consider myself a Battlefield fan, but I've always loved the sense of scale these games have, and this just looks like it's taking it to a whole new level. Hopefully the game isn't bugged up the ass on release, but still very promising. 12 Minutes got a short trailer and release date. I think this game looks pretty good, the premise is interesting and it has a celebrity cast, but not much else to say on that. Psychonauts 2 looks great, man. I haven't played the original Psychonauts yet, but I love how this game looks, and gameplay wise it looks like it's going to be a really unique platformer. It's coming out August 25th and I have very high hopes for it. After that, some more Bethesda games were confirmed to be coming to Game Pass, and Fallout 76 is getting a new update and expansion. I don't know if Fallout 76 is worth playing now, but I'm pretty sure most Fallout fans were hoping for a more traditional game to be announced, considering how long it's been since Fallout 4. Elder Scrolls Online trailer, and who cares. A new game called Party Animals was shown though. It looks like Game Beasts with animals, but I guess that's not necessarily a bad thing. Hades was announced to be coming to Xbox, a new game called Somerville from the studio created by Playdead's former co-founder was shown, and Halo Infinite got a new special look with an emphasis on its multiplayer mode. I really hope this game comes out well. I just want Halo to be good again, and while the multiplayer looked really fun, I kinda still have some reservations about the story mode, especially with how little they showed it off here. At least Cortana 2 exists, I can sleep well knowing that. Afterwards, Diablo 2 Resurrected got a new trailer and release date. The sequel to Plague Tale was announced. Far Cry 6 got another trailer with more gameplay being shown here than was at Ubisoft's conference. And this thing called Slime Rancher 2 was confirmed. I don't know what the hell Slime Rancher is, but I thought this game looked very pretty and I would die for these slime creatures. A new snowboarding game called Treaders was revealed. I kinda thought this was gonna be a new Steep or something, but nope, I guess it's just a new snowboarding IP. Looks fine, really hate the logo though. This game called Atomic Heart was shown, I have no idea what the hell was happening here. I guess this is just a glimpse into the future when the sex bots take over. This game called Replace was revealed. God, what a pretty game. I think many, including myself, thought that this was that game called The Last Night that showed up at Xbox's E3 2017 conference and disappeared off the face of the planet. But no, this is a brand new game by a different studio, and it looks stunning. I know these HD 2D sprite-based games are getting a little oversaturated, but man are they still great to look at. Granted is getting a new update including an arachnophobia safe mode and sitting, that's fun. Among Us was shown off, and man I hope its new updates are cool because this game is kinda dying in my opinion. A couple of games in the Euden series, a spiritual successor to Suikoden, were revealed, with their release dates being painfully long away. These games looked great even if I'm not huge on RPGs, but the fact that one of them won't be out until 2023 basically means I'm gonna forget that this exists in about a week. This game I forgot about called The Ascent was shown off, Age of Empires 4 got a release date, The Outer Worlds 2 was revealed in a very self-aware trailer, and Microsoft Flight Simulator was confirmed to be coming to consoles with Top Gun content for some reason. And to close things out, Forza Horizon 5 was revealed, and a new game by Arcane Studios was announced titled Redfall. I give Forza a lot of crap for being a yearly series, but the Horizon games actually seem pretty fun. And this game was absolutely gorgeous to look at, it's so lifelike, it's insane. They didn't show a car on stage this year though, and we all know it's not an Xbox conference if they don't show a car on stage. As for Redfall, there wasn't any gameplay shown, but from what I can tell and from what Phil Spencer said about it, it's going to be an open world Borderlands-like shooter with vampires, so that sounds pretty interesting. I thought the trailer was kind of paced weirdly, and it's odd that this was their one more thing for the show, but not bad. And that was Xbox's E3 showcase. Overall, they did pretty good. A lot of stuff was shown off, the conference was well paced, and I think there was a good amount of variety as well. I've seen a lot of people say there were too many shooter games shown off, and I mean, do you know whose conference we're watching here? People say that every year, and it's not like it's out of line for a lot of Microsoft's demographic anyway, so I don't really agree with that criticism. I think Microsoft did a pretty good job showcasing a lot of quality titles to get people interested in the Series X, and it helps that a lot of them are exclusives as well as coming to Game Pass day one on release. God, it's seriously insane how good of a deal Game Pass is. This is the same company that owns Crackdown, how did they make something this good? To conclude, I really liked Xbox and Bethesda's show. And thank God Deathloop wasn't shown off again. Going into Square's conference, I wasn't really expecting much. I figured part 2 of the Final Fantasy VII Remake was way too far off for it to be shown off here, so I guess I was just hoping for some new stuff, or maybe even a little bit more info on Final Fantasy XVI.
Where do I start?
Square opened with a reveal of a new Guardians of the Galaxy game, and man, they must have been really proud of how it looked because they spent nearly 20 minutes showing it off. Jesus Christ, guys, why did you spend so much time on this? It's a Marvel game. People are gonna know if they're interested 3 minutes in. Did you really need the gameplay showcase on top of the trailer and developer interview? Okay, now that I've got that out of the way, and as someone who does actually like Marvel, I have my reservations. This game is being made by Eidos Montreal rather than Crystal Dynamics, who made last year's Avengers game. And while I do have a little more faith in these guys based on how the game's been described, I still fear that a lot of the Avengers problems are going to carry over here. I'm already not a huge fan of the character designs. There is only one playable character with you commanding the other Guardians, and the gameplay looks like it could be just as repetitive as Avengers was. I really hope this game is good. I just want more Marvel games with the same quality of Insomniac Spider-Man ones. Either way though, Square really didn't need to focus on this for as long as they did. After spending an eternity on Guardians of the Galaxy, the next thing shown was remasters of the first 6 Final Fantasy games. Oh wow! These are some of the greatest games of all time, so I can't wait to try these out on my Nintendo Switch. Just kidding, f*** you Square. Why are you locking these to Steam and mobile when most other consoles have a fair amount of Final Fantasy games anyway? Not only that, but why did you choose to show the gameplay like this? Well, after that there was a short trailer for the Legend of Mana remaster. Never played a Mana game, probably won't start here. The game looked very nice visually though. Man, I need a palate cleanser. Here's more Marvel stuff. The rest of the year's plans were highlighted for Marvel's Avengers. You know, the game people don't like. I don't know the consensus on the expansions and updates this game's had, but this sure looked like more Avengers alright. Although I will say I thought the Black Panther trailer was pretty cool. Then after that, Square decided to drown us in mobile games for a while. The Hitman game centered around sniping. I don't know where else you'd play that. That Nier Reincarnation game that's coming out. I like Nier and the game looks alright, but I'd rather not play this on mobile. Final Fantasy Brave Exvius is getting Final Fantasy 1 content and an update for its 5th anniversary. It sure is. And lastly, Final Fantasy 7 The First Soldier got shown off, and this still feels like an April Fool's joke to me. Jesus, well after that we got a look at the upcoming Babylon's Fall. This trailer didn't really give me a good idea on what you do in this game. I guess it's Square's take on an action dungeon crawler with multiplayer, but if that's the case it wasn't presented very clearly at all, even with the developer interview afterwards. It's another live service game so that blows, but hey, Platinum Games is on board so at the very least the game will play well. Then some Life is Strange games got shown off, specifically the Remastered Collection and the newest game Life is Strange True Colors. I'll be honest and say I really don't like the Life is Strange series, so believe it or not, I didn't care about these games. True Colors looked fine, but man, those remasters barely changed anything. All they did was darken the games and make the eyes look more realistic. And finally, Square finished their showcase with the announcement of Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin. What the hell am I looking at? So I guess the game's a bit of a reimagining of the first Final Fantasy with a fresh coat of paint and new story. But man, do these character designs clash with each other super hard. The main character looks like a dude I met at the gym. Also, he must really fucking hate this Chaos guy because he mentioned how much he hates him like 8 times. The gameplay looked decent and visually it's alright, but I cannot take these cutscenes seriously due to how laughable the dialogue is. Yikes, that was pretty bad. They spent half of their time talking about Marvel stuff and everything else was either a mobile game, old shit, and expansions to stuff already out, or just things that didn't leave that much of an impact. I don't think it was as bad as Square's E3 2018 show, at least they had some new stuff here, but man, this was a major letdown. Surprisingly enough, Capcom was holding a showcase this year. I like Capcom, but I really wasn't expecting much from them. They're a good company, but not as big as like Ubisoft or Activision in terms of how much stuff they put out each year. I was just hoping for maybe a few smaller games and maybe another look at that weird astronaut game they announced last year. So what did Capcom show off? An announcement for RE8 DLC, a new trailer for Monster Hunter Stories 2, a new update for Monster Hunter Rise, a new look at the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, and some esports garbage nobody cared about. I went in with low expectations, I still came out disappointed. God, this was just unnecessary. Everything shown was either stuff we already knew about or stuff we already assumed was coming anyway. Capcom really didn't need to hold this event. Everything here could have just been a part of other people's conferences. Now granted, Capcom did let people know specifically what they would be focusing on ahead of time, but even then, this entire event was just unnecessary. They should have just done this a week before or after E3, that way people wouldn't get their hopes up for something bigger to be announced. In conclusion, as a Mega Man and Marvel vs. Capcom fan, I weep. And here we are, the company that I'm definitely the most into. For Nintendo, I didn't really have any expectations for them this year. Outside of the inevitable Smash character, Nintendo's 2021 lineup has been pretty bare so far, so really they could have announced anything and I would have taken it. They opened things up by revealing Kazuya Mishima from Tekken as the newest character in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Okay. Alright, Tekken is a huge franchise and definitely deserving enough to be in Smash Bros. But I think most people were expecting a much bigger character to be revealed here, especially when Banjo, a character that appeals more to general Nintendo fans and has been demanded to be playable since the original Smash Bros. Was shown last time Nintendo was at E3. I don't know, I think I feel so sour towards Kazuya because his reveal trailer doesn't really build him up well. It's pretty obvious who the new character is fairly early on in the trailer. I also feel like there are far more interesting Tekken characters they could have picked for Smash, and the music in the trailer was kind of boring in my opinion, especially when Tekken music is known for being quite good. In the end, I'm happy for Tekken fans and glad Namco got another character in the game, but it really didn't do much for me personally. After that, the Life is Strange games were confirmed to be coming to Switch, and am I the only person who thinks it's weird that the remasters of the first two games are coming out after the brand new one? Guardians of the Galaxy was shown off because I guess people didn't get enough of it at Square's conference. Man, this looked really good running on the Switch, and then they later announced it's just a cloud version of the game. That definitely takes away some of the excitement. A new Worms game not in the style of the Worms games people actually like was shown, this hand-painted RPG Astria Ascending was shown, 2 Point Campus made an appearance, and I'll be honest, this whole section of games was probably the most forgettable part of the Direct. Ooh, a new Monkey Ball game! Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania was announced, being a remastered collection of Monkey Ball 1, 2, and Deluxe. The game having the new title of Banana Mania makes me wonder if there's going to be any new levels on top of the old ones, but I'm just glad that Monkey Ball isn't dead and that they're actually remastering the games people like now. They then announced Mario Party Superstars, or as I like to call it, Mario Party The Top 100 The Apology. This is a collection of 5 classic Mario Party boards and the graphics of Super Mario Party, with 100 minigames from the N64 titles returning as well. I think everyone expected a new Mario Party to be announced, especially since they just randomly added online to Super 2 years after its release, no doubt so they could add it for this game. But I think many were hoping for a brand new title. To me, this game kind of feels really lazy, but if this means that Nintendo's admitting that they don't know how to make new Mario Parties fun anymore, then I guess I'll take it. After Mario Party, Nintendo announced a new 2D Metroid game. Oh my god! It's a brand new game in the style of Fusion and Samus Returns, and not only that, but it's called Metroid Dread, the same title that was rumored to be in the making 15 years ago. This is crazy! This was probably the biggest announcement to come from the Direct. Having Mercury Steam back for an HD Metroid game is great, and this looks like it'll satisfy Metroid fans until Prime 4 comes out. Some amiibo were announced, and afterwards some smaller titles like Just Dance 2022, Cruise and Blast, and Dragon Ball Z Kakarot were announced for Switch. I really didn't think that last one would happen. This was just a game that I always thought wouldn't run well on Switch. Then Mario Golf Super Rush's modes were shown off, and the game was confirmed to be getting post-launch updates including new characters and a course based on New Donk City from Mario Odyssey. Star Rush looks like it'll be pretty fun. I hope this won't be another Mario Tennis Aces where the gameplay and modes were its biggest downfalls, but only time will tell, I guess. Monster Hunter Stories 2 got a spotlight. I like that this is the most gameplay we've seen since this was revealed, and it comes out in like a month. Nintendo then announced a brand new WarioWare game. Finally, the Switch has been validated. The game's called WarioWare Get It Together, and I guess the main gameplay gimmick is having co-op play and choosing specific WarioWare characters to change up how the micro games are played. I haven't played a ton of the WarioWare games, the one I played the most was the one on Wii, but this was a pleasant surprise nonetheless. Following that up with Shin Megami Tensei 5, what a mood shift. You go from talking about killing demons with special powers to discussing Shin Megami Tensei, it's really odd. I haven't dived into the main SMT games yet, but this one looks like it'll be pretty similar to Nocturne in terms of style and tone, and it looks really high quality overall. I like the main character's weird Super Sentai form, and hopefully this will please fans still wanting the Persona games on Switch. I mean RPG bad, am I right guys? The Danganronpa games were announced to be coming to Switch under Danganronpa Decadence and as separate digital releases as well. I'm really glad these games are getting ported. Now we have Danganronpa and not Danganronpa all in one system. It's a dream come true. Fatal Frame Maiden of Blackwater is the latest game to escape the clutches of the Wii U. Horror games aren't really my thing due to my medical condition, but this was still a pretty cool announcement to see. I wonder how well this game will play on Switch though, because I'm pretty sure the gamepad was a pretty big component of the original, so I'm interested to see the reviews on this. Doom Eternal's DLC was announced to be coming that day, the remakes of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 are coming this month, and this thing called Strange Brigade was shown and confirmed to be coming to the Switch the day of the Direct, and I can tell you right now that everyone who watched the Direct has already forgotten this game existed. Mario plus Rabbids got shown a bit, yeah we know, and after that there was... What? Holy shit, a new Advance Wars, this is amazing! The series has been kind of getting the shaft compared to Fire Emblem recently, so it's great to see it back even if it is just a remaster of the first two games from the GBA. And to close out, Nintendo spent some time on some Zelda announcements, including a look at Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity's first wave of DLC, a reminder that Skyward Sword HD comes out in a month, a new Zelda Game & Watch for the series' 35th anniversary, and a first look at the sequel to Breath of the Wild. Age of Calamity's DLC looks pretty fun. You can play as a guardian and ride a motorbike as Zelda. My lucid dreams have been fulfilled. I feel like people were expecting more for Zelda's 35th anniversary considering everything Nintendo did for Mario's anniversary, but the Game & Watch still looks really high quality, and I think lumping in Link's Awakening makes it a lot more compelling than if it was just Zelda 1 and 2. But Breath of the Wild 2. This looks incredible. It looks like it's taking the original game's level of exploration to an all-new height, while giving the player even more runes and options to toy around with. It's a shame it's not coming out this year and we still don't know what its official title is yet, but this is something I am extremely excited for.
Yep, Nintendo won E3 this year.
While a lot of the games shown off weren't huge for anyone outside of Nintendo fans, they still had a crazy amount of new things announced that look seriously great. I could complain about the amount of remasters announced here, but Breath of the Wild 2 made up for it anyway, so who cares? I'll put it like this, I think you can tell this Nintendo Direct was special because it was the first one in a while where the main takeaway wasn't who the newest Smash Bros. Character is, and that's a feeling I haven't had in a long time. Well, that was all of the main company's E3 showings, and overall I hate video games. This E3 was pretty bad in my opinion. Nintendo was great, Xbox was good, but everyone else's offerings were just super disappointing this year. I don't know if it's because companies are readjusting to the E3 season or if severely affected their game's developments, but there just wasn't anything that was all too interesting. Hopefully next year has more exciting reveals and we'll be back to an in-person event, but as a whole this was pretty bad. In the end, at least EA didn't have a conference this year.
Since E3 2021 was pretty disappointing, I hope that encourages all these big video game companies to try even harder for E3 2022. But since I never pass up the opportunity to show up a major corporation, I decided I'm going to make my own game to show at next year's E3. Expect gameplay in 2045.